Let's cut to the chase. You're stuck at just around $20,000 a month with your proven coaching offer. You've watched the tutorials, you know the benefits, but you still don't know what to do to scale. That's because you're living in accordance with what I like to call the gambler. Someone who throws content into the void, leaving their growth up to chance. And I was there too, but in the past 30 days, I've been able to scale to 40K a month profit with a new offer on a fresh YouTube channel. And I did this by putting myself in the position of the investor, someone who builds a YouTube ecosystem with intention, where every single upload strengthens the whole. And I know what you're thinking, oh, he just got lucky, but this wasn't luck. For the past 7 years, I've been studying YouTube. That's since the age of 10 years old. And I know what works for entertainment creators, and I especially know what works for these educational creators who are selling high ticket offers just like you. So today, I'll show you exactly how, so you can stop waiting for one video to magically take off and you can actually take control of your business. Now, before we jump into the exact steps, you need to know one critical thing. YouTube isn't about competing with the biggest creators. It's about positioning yourself so you never have to. If you miss this, nothing I share today will matter. So let's break it down. Step number 1 to scale past 20K a month in 30 days is to become a specialist. Being a generalist in any niche means you're competing with the top dogs. The top dog in the fitness niche is Mike Thurston. The top dog in the business niche is Alex Hormozi. You will never win without millions of followers, and you don't want millions of followers because it dilutes your funnel. So since you already have the offer built and you already have the channel built, just see if you can narrow it down a bit further. Can you get a bit more niche? Define your very specific audience and your very specific problem. Being specific makes it way easier for YouTube to find your audience, meaning it will like you as a creator better, and it will find the people that you actually want to sell to a lot easier. And then to take it even further, you want to solve a very specific problem for that target demographic. What this will do is it will allow you to charge higher prices. If you're currently charging 6K and you're doing 20K a month, imagine if you could charge 8K or 12K. That alone can take you from the 20K range to 30 or 40K a month. Hell, maybe it could even triple your income, taking you to 60K a month. And to make sure you're charging the highest prices possible, you try to target the biggest pain point. Value is created when pain is alleviated. Pain is alleviated when problems are solved. So the bigger problem you can solve, the more you can charge. Therefore, if you're charging 3K, 4K, 5K, see if you can charge a bigger problem for a target audience that has a lot more money. Then maybe you could charge 6K or 12K, maybe even 24K if it's like an enterprise or a larger company. And that's why sometimes it's not always in increasing views, but rather increasing the quality of views so you can raise your prices that will allow you to scale. And this will mean you're gonna have to niche down the way you talk to the camera, your offer itself, and even the audience you're targeting. But trust me, it's gonna remove the headache because now you're solving a very specific problem for a very specific person. All right, now that we got all that out of the way, let's dive into the exact 5-step system so you can scale past 20K a month and hit those 30, 40, even 50K months, all while using YouTube as the engine. Step 1 is the foundation of the entire channel, and it has nothing to do with the algorithm. As we just went over the importance of actually narrowing down your niche, let's go over step by step how you can actually apply this to your own YouTube channel. Most coaches make the mistakes of studying thumbnails, titles, and hacks. But if you're talking to the wrong person, the most views and the best video in the world won't save you. Remember, we don't create for algorithms. We create for people because the algorithm is not gonna buy our high ticket offer. So here's exactly how to get that clarity to narrow down your audience. The first thing you wanna do is write down your ideal customer profile or your ICP. Define their age, their gender, even their income if that matters. But most importantly, what pains are keeping them up at night? What goals are they obsessing over? What questions are they typing into YouTube that you can answer better than anyone else? Notice how all these questions are emotional questions. They're things that people do impulsively because people don't buy with logic. They buy with emotion and they justify with logic. And that goes the same with booking a call with you. They're not even gonna get on that discovery call unless there's an emotional reason to hop on it. And that's exactly why we define the exact pains our audience may go through, and we make sure to tap into that in our content and our landing page and our entire funnel. Then you wanna create your channel vision statement. Here's how it should be phrased. I help ICP go from pain to goal so they can outcome. Now, that sounds stupid and robotic, but let's fill it in with a niche. I help overweight dads overcome their procrastination, lack of clarity, and undisciplined habits to regain their youthful lifestyle so they can be there for their kids throughout their lives. Notice how everything I filled in there is emotional because that's what the viewers actually look for. When you nail this, YouTube becomes an ecosystem of intent. Every video pulls in the exact client you want, and you stop wasting energy on people who were never gonna buy from you in the first place. All right, and step number 2, step number 2. That was confusing. That looked like 1. Ideation. If you want your channel to scale, you should be spending around half your time here. There's a very famous quote from Abraham Lincoln, which I just love. If I had 8 hours to chop down a tree, I'd spend the first 6 sharpening my axe. That's exactly what ideation is. Most coaches rush into filming and editing, they're just swinging a dull axe. But the ones who win are those sharpening their axe before they ever hit record. I use 2 methods to do this. I did it right that time. The first one is sparking. This is pulling inspiration from real conversations, client questions, and community insights. Check your comment section, talk to clients, ask people questions on discovery calls, see what pain points they have, see what problems they need solved, and you can use this to ideate YouTube videos. The second one is spotting. This is finding outlier videos in your niche or in adjacent niches, then adapting them and improving them. When you sharpen your axe through smart ideation, every video becomes easier to record, clearer to your audience, and far more likely to compound inside your ecosystem. Boom, we're already on to step number 3. This is packaging, which is essentially the title and thumbnail of your video. Think of packaging as the front door to your ecosystem. If nobody opens your door, the brilliance of your channel is never seen. These ideas that you spent sharpening are never going to be seen in the light. Ogilvy. There's a quote from David Ogilvy, who's often known as the father of advertising. He said, when you have written your headline, you've spent 80 cents out of your dollar. On YouTube, your headline is the title. Pair that with the right thumbnail, and you've just created yourself an irresistible invitation. Ignore it, and you're throwing 80% of your effort away. All right, we love formulas on this channel, so here's the formula for it. First, the thumbnail catches the viewer's attention on the home feed. Then the title is gonna clarify the promise. From there, the viewer's going back to the thumbnail to really put 2 and 2 together and understand exactly what they're clicking on. And then they make a decision. Do I click on this? Is it interesting? Is there a question I want answered? Is this gonna help me or is it not? And am I gonna scroll on and click on another video? Together, the title and thumbnail create curiosity. If that curiosity is not there, you're not getting any clicks and your ideal customer is going to someone else. Now, I use a pretty in-depth system to make this actually work for titles and thumbnails, but for the sake of simplicity, I'm gonna share with you the Benz framework. It starts with the big claim. This is something bold enough to stand out on the YouTube home feed. Then it goes into easy, meaning it should feel simple, doable, and not overwhelming. From there, we go into new. This is a fresh angle or idea. It's not just recycled advice that we've seen everywhere from all these other gurus. And then lastly, we want to make it safe. Safe to click because it promises clarity and not clickbait. Safe to try because it's something they could actually apply into their own business, not something unrealistic and out of their reach. Your goal here is simple. You want over a 5.5% CTR, but there's also a deeper goal to this. You're not chasing cheap clicks. You're architecting an entry point, an open door into your equity channel. Every time this idea, title, and thumbnail that you meticulously put together works, you got someone into your ecosystem who could potentially buy from you. And if your offer is high ticket, you only need a handful of these to scale past 20K a month. All right, in step 4, we're almost there. This is the Hive framework. The Hive framework is simple. We start with the hook. In the hook, you should repeat the title. This is gonna set expectations and it's gonna remove all sense of clickbait. The second thing we want is the intro, which is where you establish credibility. Throw out authority statements. Make yourself seem like someone worth listening to. And then we get into step 3, which is value. Here, you solve one problem with 3 to 5 clear points. And number 4 is the end screen. Here's where you push them to another video, where you have your CTA, where you get them to go to the next step. When you're sharing value, always give away a lot of information. Remember, people pay for implementation, not info. You can share all the tips and tricks and the entire roadmap to your viewers, but the reason they're gonna wanna work with you is because you can actually walk them through it. You can help them implement it. Cool. And now the 5th step. This one is so incredibly important. It's to build an actual ecosystem in your channel. YouTube rewards your channel if you can get people to stay on the platform for longer. Why? Because they get to run more ads. And the plus for you is you get to spend more time with your viewers, which builds more trust and authority. This is why I try to recommend another video to watch after each of my videos. So I build an entire ecosystem for my viewers. But you need to be very intentional behind this funnel, because if you do it right, YouTube itself could be an entire sales funnel for you. It could pre-qualify people, it could pre-handle objections, and it can create urgency around your offer. So there's 3 levels to this. Let's start with the top of funnel. This is where you shift beliefs. What you're doing here is you're gonna get your viewers to shift their limiting beliefs that are preventing them from working with you, or even just preventing them from continuing to watch your content. For me, and you being one of my viewers, one of the main beliefs I try to shift throughout my audience is thinking that for YouTube, you need to have a large audience. And I shift that to the reality, which is you need a small intentional audience, which is gonna benefit your business much more. All right, let's go down to middle funnel videos now. This is where you teach the method. This is the how-to. Here, you should give away value for completely free. It's just to show your expertise, to show the viewer that you know what you're talking about, and that the belief you shifted in the top of funnel video wasn't BS. You should focus on giving away value that specifically resonates with your viewer. What problems do they have? What are they wondering about your process and your methodologies that you may not have showcased in the top of funnel video? All right, and now we go down to the bottom funnel videos. This is where you show an irrefutable amount of proof. Give the viewer every single reason to work with you and remove every reason not to. Now, most viewers should convert after the middle funnel video. That should be enough for them to want to work with you. But if there's a chance that they're still on the fence, you don't want to leave them. So that's where this bottom funnel comes in to just reinforce and seal the deal. The only link on bottom funnel videos should be your main offer. All the other videos can have main offer, and then under that, another video, depending on where they are in your YouTube ecosystem funnel process. Okay, cool. I have an extra step here. And if you don't implement this one, you're not gonna actually be able to convert your viewers from just an audience to paying clients. But first, if you wanna work directly with me to grow your intentional YouTube ecosystem, you can schedule a time to chat with the top link in the description. You'll either hop on a call with me or my business partner, who's been able to scale some of the top coaches in the industry to hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Okay, let's talk call to actions, or CTAs. The first thing you wanna do is place a CTA after the first bit of value. This is because towards the first third of your video is where you have the most viewership. So if you're only CTAing at the end of the video, you're only talking to like 20 or even 10% of the actual viewership you thought you had. But we don't have it before the first bit of value because then you're asking for something before you give. But if you give first and then ask, the viewer doesn't feel like they're cheated. This should be a very soft CTA. You're not telling them to click off and go book a call right then, but you're telling them to stay to the end of the video and book a call after they watch it. So your retention isn't killed there. And the second CTA, you should place right before the last piece of value. Think about watching a movie in the theater. They roll the credits and they always have that extra little scene at the end that everyone stays for. If they didn't have that scene, no one would watch the credits. Everyone would just leave. Do this with your hard CTA at the end of the video, so the viewer knows there's more value to come. They don't have a clear reason to click off right then and there. And lastly, always make sure you're pinning your CTA link in the comment section. Sometimes viewers go to the comments before leaving your video, and you always want that there just in case they want to check it out. Cool. And if you want to learn more about this business-like approach to YouTube, check out this video here. I think you'll like it.